and a warm welcome to this episode of Digital Dialogues powered by CXO Digital Paths. Recent data underscores the rapid integration of artificial intelligence AI in enterprises. 72% of organizations have adopted AI, which is a significant increase from the previous year. And 63% of retail companies utilize AI to enhance customer service, with 40% establishing a dedicated team and budgets for this technology. However, despite all these advancements, three-fourths of the companies struggle to achieve and scale AI's value, highlighting ongoing challenges in effective implementation. In today's discussion, we'll explore all these aspects with a global leader with over 2 decades of rich and diverse experience across various industries like CPG, retail, healthcare, manufacturing, and many more. She is also a deep tech startup mentor at NASCOM, along with an AI expert advisor at ITNT, the Tamil Nadu Technology Hub. With all these excitements, I'm really pleased to welcome Nitya Subramaniam, Head of Data and Analytics for EMEA region at Kellanova. Today, we'll be delving into all these technologies, understand the implications, and harness the potential for the future. A very warm welcome, Nitya.
Thank you, Pratik, for that wonderful introduction, and also thank you for bringing those, those numbers, right? Those statistics, because numbers speak louder than words. So, yeah, I think the context that you have set is great, and a good segue into the conversation.
Thank you, Nitya. And let's start with the very first question. So, you've been deeply involved in the digital transformation for many enterprises. What has been the core challenge that enterprises face when they are integrating AI at scale, particularly when they are balancing the legacy system with the new AI driven solutions?
Yeah, I mean, we usually think that digital transformation is something that is pretty intuitive and straightforward to implement. Because this is what we presume when we kind of plan for it or build a strategy around it. But having said that, right, the real complexity or challenge of implementing digital transformation is not in terms of in terms of the strategy or the roadmap, but it's definitely in terms of all the change management, all the the impact on the people that this digital transformation is likely to bring, which is actually something which doesn't get usually discussed upfront during the strategy, but this is something which is a make or break or a success decider for any of the strategy implementations. So I would rather say the huge one of the the biggest challenges which organizations face is in terms of change management and people management with respect to digital strategy. And also equally challenging is the integration of the digital products and the existing legacy infrastructure. And then of course the third one is all the legacy processes which need to undergo a change through the digitization and digital transformation, and also in terms of the digital literacy across the organization which is required for adopting these digital products. So these are some of the biggest challenges that I have seen, and how organizations have been dealing with successfully, in my experience, has been to kind of be mindful and conscious of these challenges right at the time of planning digital transformation, and include all the stakeholders whom the digital transformations is going to are going to directly impact, and listen to their concerns and address those concerns as a part of the transformation journey. Somebody might feel that their job is at stake, somebody might feel that they might become totally irrelevant, and even not to this extreme, but somebody might just feel they are not ready to kind of move from a excel based solution to a completely digital platform and a digital solution. They might not be very confident, right? So these are some of these subtle challenges that we need to really plan for right at the beginning. including, of course, as you mentioned, how do we integrate the digital products into the existing legacy infrastructure, which is, I would rather say, the nervous system of any existing organization, right? We definitely wouldn't want to discount the legacy systems. Rather, we need to find ways of course, simplifying the legacy systems, at the same time integrating the new digital products in the existing legacy systems.
Definitely. And I think all these concerns come up instantly the moment you start planning for it. So I think ensuring a well-informed environment around you, including the people, and it really eases off the entire process. And for all these things, I think the trigger comes from the business. That business-driven decisions, the objectives, they are there. So how do you see AI and ML them reshaping customer experience strategies at global organizations? Because the overall outreach is wide, there are different segments of customers that need to be catered through one unified goal. So, what should companies focus on to leverage these technologies most effectively?
Yeah, and I think what the one interesting angle that you brought is something that companies should think about digital transformation as means or enablers for a larger purpose that they want to serve. And the larger purpose in most of the cases, like in case of a CPG organization that I represent, is customer centricity, right? How much are we kind of addressing to the customer preferences or solving for the customer problems, right? Is something which needs to decide what sort of products and solutions that we want to build, and therefore what sort of digital transformation that we need to embark on to build it most effectively in the most customer centric way, right? So customer centricity is core to most of the organizations, and currently, and I would rather say that the one way of solving this is to have sufficient systems and technology in place to understand the customer preferences, which could also mean studying customer behavior, studying their preferences, their reviews, their likings, etc. And with all the technology which is available around us, it's easy for us to synthesize vast quantities of data related to customer and come as close to the customer preferences, or customer pain points as possible, right? And this was not possible, maybe a few years back, because back then we didn't have sufficient technology prowess to store and synthesize and churn this amount of data. But today we are like all well equipped in terms of our storage technologies, in terms of cloud, in terms of compute, right, in terms of algorithm maturity, right? So we are talking about AI, generative AI, and also we are talking about other technology components like blockchain, IoT, etc. So all of this is kind of enabling us to ensure that we understand the customer and are as customer centric as possible and focus our digital transformation efforts towards this overarching goal.
Okay. And as you mentioned, Nitya, that there are multiple technologies which are coming, starting from IoT to blockchain to cloud computing in large scale organizations. And now with AI coming into picture, what according to you is the best approach to converge all these technologies with AI?
Yeah. So, as you mentioned, right, the current technology wave that we are living in is not only AI, but it comprises of other technology components like blockchain, IoT, even from a compute angle, quantum computing, and even from other aspects like synthetic biology, DNA synthesis, if I may, protein analysis and synthesis and whatnot, right? So there is a lot of things which are happening together, right? And as we are currently figuring out, the benefits and the drawbacks of AI, and we are trying to amplify the benefits, we are ensuring that AI is democratized and commoditized so that it is available to everybody, right? Not just a select few organizations which have deep pockets. And at the same
Mhm.
time, we are trying to address the flip sides of AI, which is in terms of ethical concerns, in terms of privacy and security concerns, etc., and all the deep fakes and hallucination that we keep hearing, right? So we are trying to kind of build AI as a technology into something which is capable of solving a lot of problems, doing a lot of good. At the same time, we have all the regulations and controls in place at all levels in order to ensure that it is done in a very sustainable and responsible way. Similar kind of an approach is being undertaken for other technology components. So as all of these technology components like blockchain, IoT, etc., evolve, right? At some point in time, they will converge. They will converge in such a way that I call that as a the technology wave coming of age, right? When all of this would come together, and uh, it will make us capable of super intelligence or artificial general intelligence, where we would be kind of surrounded by a lot of these agentic systems that can do a lot of the mundane tasks for us, whereas the human potential can be focused more on value adding tasks. And this super intelligence will also be able to solve problems which we thought were never solvable, starting from climate to green energy, to food
True.
security, right? You can name it, right? All of these things, right? So I see a huge positive way forward, and a huge significant, I would say, positive potential in all of this technology wave coming together. And to answer to your question about how we can handle this, I think we need to be very cautious about first of all, be excited about this technology, be inquisitive about what this technology can solve, and at the same time be also aware that this is a powerful tool, a powerful weapon, and the weapon
True.
can be used for safeguarding, at the same time for mass destruction. So we need to be pretty mindful of how do we control the flip sides of how AI could be used. And I think if all of these
Mhm.
are taken together, along with making the technology itself more efficient, less resource consuming, etc., so that we are not very taxing on the environment around us. I think that should be the approach and way forward.
Definitely. And I would, as you correctly said, it's a very powerful tool, but it's just that with what intent it's being used, it's for the benefit or for the worse. That is something that we need to be slightly more mindful. And compliance and regulations are one aspect which uh, we are all foreseeing that they would be helping in controlling it. And a lot, as you mentioned, that a lot is happening over here. And I would say majority of this can be also attributed to the startups because the kind of ideas that they are coming up in terms of utilization. So you've been mentoring these deep tech startups through NASCOM, and I would say that you are getting that front row seat to innovative AI solutions. So what key technologies or approaches, as per you, have stood out in terms of potential to disrupt industries, creating something which was never thought of? So, what has been, if you can mention, that really caught your eye?
Sure. Yeah, and I've been very fortunate to talk to these startups, right? As being a mentor to these startups, or also, I've been also fortunate to talk to some of the VCs and angel investors into these startups, and some of the startup advisors as well, right? And what really excites me about these startups is that they are thinking, in a way how technology can solve problems, right? And solve it in in a frugal and innovative way, right? Because as you would know that most of these are bootstrapped, right? So they want to solve a problem in the most impactful way, and at the same time with the lowest cost, right? So that kind of pushes them to innovate, right? Innovate to ensure that the problem is solved in the best possible by the best possible use of technology. And when I look at the technologies that they are using all the technology available. It's like the whole a la carte of technology which is available in front of them, and
Mhm.
they don't think as to, okay, I want to use this technology, now let me go and find the problem. they think on the other way, right? They have spent enough time in the industry, talking to people, to know what are the, the nagging problems that need an immediate solution, right? And then they work in the direction of finding what is the best technology to solve it. So they don't use things like generative AI or blockchain or IoT just for the sake of it, right? And this is something which I find very very intuitive and promising. And then another thing that I really find promising is that these guys are uh, pretty, I would say, courageous to take bold decisions, right? Which probably a huge organization will think twice before taking, and there'll be whole lot of board approvals and this and that. These guys are very nimble and very courageous in taking bold decisions, and in many times these decisions pay off, right? And another aspect I've seen is that a lot of the startups, bearing a few, they think long term, right? Long term value creation versus short time, I would say, profit to the founders, or to the investors, right? And this long term value creation mentality drives them towards more prolific innovation, so that they are thinking not just until the pre IPO. They are thinking beyond that. They're thinking how the company is going to grow in a sustainable way, right? So all of these things are really kind of telling me a story, and telling the story to even other mentors, that we are moving in the right direction, right? And these startups are thinking in the right way. So how the industries can engage with these startups, the big names, right, in this industry can engage with these startups, tap onto their innovative potential, and solve for the customer, solve for the consumer, solve for the I would say, quote unquote, society around us. Because it's very important, right? We kind of shift our focus into more kind of solving problems for the society than business profits.
Definitely. And you said that, their intent has a much wider uh, scope and thought process when they come up with ideas. However, I would like to understand that, is there any common gap that you see when these startups come up with these AI strategies? Or do you see that, they are more evolved in terms of thought process? What exactly is the scenario right now?
Yeah, as I said, there are some exceptions, right? And these exceptions are those startups where they pivot on the technology way too much than the problem that they are solving, right? Some startups think pretty short term. Such kind of mindset is more profit generating mindset than a long term value generating mindset, right? So some of the startups that I've spoken to, they are not very much interested in, okay, my company needs to sustain for 10 years, 20 years, 100 years, right? So let me think through at least for the next 10 years how my product, how my solution is going to evolve. So much so that they forget why they started at the first place. What is that why
Mhm.
statement? What is the purpose they started at the first place? So that thing kind of somewhere gets diluted, right? So these are some of the, I would say, potholes that I've seen, in the startup journey. And I always make sure that I try to caution them. I don't want to discourage them, because they are super enthusiastic, super talented individuals, and they are an asset to our country and our industry.
No, definitely. I think, and the reason that you mentioned that, maybe it's the VC pressure or the lack of that vision, and maybe something is just waiting to create something of legacy. So that kind of thought needs to be there with the startups. This was definitely an interesting one. And as we are closing this conversation of ours, Nitya, but we cannot close without one important aspect, data. Because
Mhm.
whatever we talk about AI, it's all based on data. So, how do you address the challenges around data privacy, the governance part, ensuring that the compliance in the context of AI driven digital transformation initiatives?
Data is key. It's like the oxygen that we breathe, right? It's as important
Mhm.
to analytics, to AI, as oxygen is to is for us to survive. And that is not a surprise, right? It's a very well known fact, so that all of us take data for granted. but data
Mhm.
is not something to be taken for granted, right? So data needs to be kind of governed well in such a way that, since it feeds into these AI systems, right, the outcome from these AI systems are trustworthy, they are deployable, right, they are actionable, right? So it's very, very important that we give the due importance to data and not take it for granted. So starting, as I mentioned, from securing the data, acquiring the data in the right shape and form, and ensure that we acquire data only as much as needed, because that is also going to translate into costs, right? You're going to spend on your compute costs, you're going to spend on your storage costs. So identify and acquire the right kind of data, ensure that we put enough efforts on in maintaining data quality, data security, ensure that we kind of maintain sufficient lineage around that data, ensure that the people who are using that data are confident, right, in terms of that if they are using this particular data element, right, it has been certified, it has been looked after for the quality, etc., and then consistency and all of that, right? And of course, bring data into the hands of the consumer, democratize that data, right? Because data is also called as the new currency, right? So the best
Yes.
way of bringing investment out of it is democratizing that, bringing data to the hand of the users, right? So I am a huge believer sorry, in federated data ecosystems, where data can be in the hands of the consumers or the functional owners, right, or the business, so that they can reap the most benefit of kind of churning or analyzing the data and making quick decisions, right? So net as organizations, or as data organizations, we need to mindfully decide our data strategy. We need to be mindful about our governance framework, right? And we also need to be mindful about how and where we store that data and how we process that data, right? So the end to end data life cycle has to be managed well.
Okay, and great. And this is a very valid point. It's all about, filtering the data, utilizing it in the correct way, and having all those processes in place just to ensure that, that main objective is being fulfilled with all this started with. Uh, Thank you, Nitya, for sharing your valuable insights on this transformative role of AI in enterprises and specifically the startups, because they are giving that valid push or that exponential push, which is helping in exploring lot many potential and opportunities what AI can do. So your perspective in terms of scaling the technologies, enhancing the customer experience, and overcoming all these data challenges, I'm sure that would be really nice guiding vision for the future and to our viewers who are seeing all this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pratik. Thanks for this opportunity. I enjoyed talking to you about all of these topics, which are pretty close to my heart. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, and a special thanks to all our viewers for tuning with us today. Do watch out the space for our next episode for more insightful discussions. Till then, goodbye and take care.